To Catch a Thief was the film that lured Cary Grant back out of retirement. And we're covering it today on the Golden Hour Film Podcast. Hello everybody, welcome back to the Golden Hour Film Podcast. My name is Harry Bailey, joined by my co-host, our guest host, Shane Mulvaney. Shane, it's Hitchcock! Who would have thought it?
Yeah,
Who would have thought it? Yeah, it's another Hitchcock film. We are now halfway through our Hitchcock arc on the podcast. My question for you, Shane, and I want you to try and answer this as fast as possible because obviously you could just work this out in your head. How many Hitchcock films have we covered on the podcast? I know the answer before.
10 movies in the 40s. Rear Window's 11. Psycho's 12. The Birds is 13. I'm trying to remember. I think that's everything apart from, so this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is this including this episode? Are we on 18?
This is our 20th Alfred Hitchcock film we have covered on the podcast.
What are we missing?
There was 12 40s films.
Oh, it's a 12. I thought it was only 10. Okay.
Yeah, there was 12. So 20 Hitchcock episodes, and we still have 5 more for you after this. After this, we obviously have The Trouble with Harry, The Man You Knew Too Much, The Wrong Man, Vertigo, and North by Northwest. I'm not certain I got that in the right order, but I think I did.
I think so.
Yeah. Anyway, this week is To Catch a Thief. It is, of course, Grace Kelly on the podcast again. She was here last week for Dial M for Murder. She was here last year when we did Rear Window that time. And it's got Cary Grant, who, yeah, as I said off the top, came back. He retired from acting in 1953 and then was convinced to do this and then did a couple more films after this as well. He retired in the early 60s then for the second time and for good. But yeah. This is Sunny Hitchcock. It's Hitchcock's first film that he shot on location in France. One thing that Hitchcock said about this film, and it definitely stands true, is he hates the idea of a royal blue sky. He wants like a turquoisey kind of sky. And yeah, you can tell like the sky in this film the whole way through makes you feel like you're actually on holidays. It's incredible.
It's unbelievable. Yeah.
But yeah, you had seen this before. I had seen this before. Before we get into a spoiler-free review, if you're listening on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Deezer, Audacity, wherever you get your podcasts, please leave us a nice 5-star review or whatever the equivalent is on that app. If you're watching us on YouTube, please leave a like, a comment, let us know what you want to see us cover, and of course, across our YouTube and our Instagram, keep on voting on the Classic Film World Cup. Because, yeah, we are 5 Hitchcock films away from starting to cover those films that were pairing up against each other in a brutal combat on our Instagram stories and on our YouTube page. So keep voting away to make sure that your voice is heard and you can get us to cover whatever it is you want us to cover. In the meantime, though, Shane, it's time for a spoiler-free review. Shane, go for it. To Catch a Thief with no spoilers, preferably. Thoughts on this film?
Yeah, I think this is a very nice film to look at. It's
Yes.
Everyone's just having a bit of a lark, I think, in the French Riviera. Obviously, it's beautiful. The sun's out. The mountains look divine. Some really fun car sequences where they're just looking along these really. Driving along the mountains, along those like spiraling mountain kind of roads, and anything could be around at any corner, any moment. But it's unlike, for example, what's that movie, Suspicion, with John Fontaine and Cary Grant. There is actually one scene where that's like that, where they there is like a great car chase sequence. But otherwise, I think the more kind of they're just nicer to hang out with on those kind of car journeys. And I think Cary Grant's having a good time. Obviously, swimming, flirting with beautiful women. Grace Kelly seems to be having a lovely time of it, and obviously after this movie, she would go on to literally be royalty.
Yes.
Alfred Hitchcock, I think who knows what he was. I'd imagine he's having good. I think everyone this just feels like a low key.
I'm not sure if this is true, but allegedly this film only exists because Hitchcock wanted to go on holidays to France.
Yeah, there you go. Like, and I could well believe it, to be honest, because there's not much of a plot. There's not much of a plot, really. It's like 100 odd minutes of like people having a lovely time in the French Riviera, and then occasionally going looking for this jewel thief. That's essentially what the movie is. But it's a fun movie. I have to stress that it's a fun movie.
It's fun, and it's really nice to look at, and I would agree. Any semblance of a plot just kind of goes by the end. Yeah. It is a jewel thief known as the Cat is framed for a string of burglaries, even though he's been in retirement. Cary Grant nod. And he has to basically come back out of retirement to catch this new thief in order to, prove his own innocence. Basically, he wants to cooperate with the police. The police have no intentions of cooperating with him.
He's the wrong man.
He is. Would you believe it? Yeah, I enjoyed this. It is a vibe. There's not many Hitchcock films that I would say are a vibe. This is a vibe. It's got Grace Kelly in it, lads.
Yeah.
Sensational. She's amazing.
She is.
One thing I will say about this film is, and you could almost tell, and I don't know if it's like if I'm just putting 2 and 2 together and getting 5 here, but just based on the fact that we obviously covered The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari on this podcast before, way back when, which is a 1920s silent German expressionist film. One thing I love about this film is that the night sequences are like this kind of greenish kind of color. It's like all green and black. It really separates it from like anything I've ever seen post silent era, because in the silent era they would use like different colored film to shoot day sequences, morning sequences, night sequences, so you could tell when it was. This film, every night sequence, instead of it being like pitch black like you see it in any movie nowadays, the night sky is genuinely this like green color, and everything else is just draped in shadows and black, and it looks amazing. It genuinely looks unlike anything I've ever seen in a sound film post the, I guess, early 30s, if you're including Germany there. So yeah, I love the night sequences in this film. And would I recommend it to Hitchcock fans? Obviously. Would I recommend it to non-Hitchcock fans? Yeah, probably. It is a good vibe. It's a good time. It's not his most substantial film ever made. He would admit that himself. I don't think he was a massive fan of the script or anything, but it's Hitchcock. He wasn't really one for self-praise when it came to many of his films. Most of his films he seems to dunk on. But I would recommend it to the non-Hitchcock fans, or the people who aren't all that into their Hitchcock, because ultimately it is a jewel thief played by Cary Grant hanging out with Grace Kelly in the French Riviera.
Yeah. This film also, by the way...
If that sounds like a vibe to you, go watch it.
Absolutely. And this film also, by the way, won the Oscar for Best Cinematography.
Valid.
Yeah, so like it looks absolutely lush.
If it's anything, it's a good-looking movie.
Yeah, that's literally... In fact, I know a few people who aren't huge Hitchcock fans, or at least haven't seen many of his movies, that absolutely love this. It's weird. I think the more Hitchcock you watch, the lower this will be in your list, even though it's still a good movie. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think like if you're just looking for a good hangout vibe, and the plot is like secondary to what's the actual, how it actually looks on screen, both the location and the actors and characters, then I think very much. This is your bag. I think you'll enjoy this for sure.
Yeah, worth noting, the cinematographer, Robert Burks, we've actually not mentioned him yet in this arc, which is kind of on us, because he has been the cinematographer for I Confess, Dial M for Murder,
Yeah.
and now this. He will then go on to be the cinematographer for Dribble with Harry,
Yeah.
The Man You Too Much, The Wrong Man, Vertigo, and North by Northwest, which we're still covering. And then he also did The Birds, which we've also covered before, Rear Window, which we've covered before. Did he do Rear Window, actually? Yeah, he did,
I
yeah.
believe he did.
And Marnie as well, which, again, if that film's anything, it's a nice film to look at. So shout out to Robert Burks, who we probably, before episode 110, should have referenced on the podcast before. But yeah, shout out to him for actually winning an Academy Award for this film. I think it's his only one. And yeah, I reckon we get into some spoilers. So Shane, with as many spoilers as you'd like, To Catch a Thief, we've kind of already done it, but what is it all about? There's not really much else to say, is there?
Yeah, so we see a really
About
cool
the plot
shot.
itself.
Nah, like it's a very loosely plotted film, for sure. It's more of a vibe. At the very start of this film, we see a really cool shot of this cat burglar and these like shadows kind of just like prowling along along a building. And then we cut to John Roby, who's played by Cary Grant, who's kind of living in the French, seems like the French countryside, and he gets a visit one day from the French police. They come to him and they think that he is responsible for this jewel robbery that happened in the French Riviera, and because he has a reputation and he is well known as being a former jewel thief, very successful, I should say. And so he says, okay, right, let me just go get changed. I'll come and help you. And then he legs it. And if anything's going to like prove your guilt, I think that surely will be it. But obviously he has different ideas. He thinks that, look, it's probably a witch hunt. He thinks that they've already made up their mind that he's guilty. And so he's going to go and prove his own innocence by himself. And his way to do that is he's going to go to this place that he used to kind of frequent. And he has a friend there called Bertani who works in the kitchen of this restaurant. And there's also a guy there called Foussard who isn't very happy at all when he shows up, John Roby. Starts kind of making a bit of a scene. But yeah, Bertani says that there's actually was a guy who came in a few days ago kind of asking about John Roby, and maybe that was the guy who kind of wants to like pull off these copycat jobs, and he wants to try and frame Roby for these crimes and essentially get away with them scot-free. And yeah, that's essentially the setup of the movie. That's really all you need to know. John Roby wants to clear his name. This person imitating John Roby is in fact a jewel thief, and John Roby needs to find him. Yeah, there's a couple of characters that we still have to be introduced to, but yeah, that's essentially what it is. Like.
Yeah, I reckon we just kind of go through some of the characters that we're introduced to. So obviously we have John Roby. John Roby kind of meets most of the characters in this film through a character who I have affectionately, his name is H.H. Hewson. Yeah. I've affectionately called him Triple H. Triple H is played by John Williams, who was a highlight of last week's episode. He is obviously Inspector Hubbard in Dial M for Murder. He plays Triple H in this film, and he is like an insurance guy who has a list of basically all the wealthy people in the area who he has insured for their jewels, and he strikes up a deal basically with Roby because Roby wants that list so that he can identify potential future victims of this copycat burglar. At that restaurant where he met Bertani, it's worth noting a few people there. There's one giant guy in the kitchen. Doesn't do anything in the film, but he's just really big. There's a woman called Danielle Foussard, who is kind of the secondary love interest in this film. She is the daughter of a waiter there, and there's a very funny scene later on where she kind of comes to like mid-mission kind of, it's like a mid-mission checkpoint, I guess, for Roby, where Roby swims out to her at sea and is like, what are you doing here? And she is like, tell me what happened in this film so far. And he tells her, and then Grace Kelly's character swims over, and Grace Kelly's character is like, oh, you're talking to this teenager or whatever. And she's like, oh yeah, I'm not all old like you, to Grace Kelly, even though the actress who played Danielle is older than Grace Kelly by like nearly 5 years. I just thought that was really funny that this woman is playing a character 5 years younger than Grace Kelly's character. Sorry, is like 10 years younger than Grace Kelly's character, but is actually 5 years older than her in real life. And then her dad is Foussard. He just gets addressed by his surname for whatever. He's a waiter, who we kind of see. He's a French actor. It's worth noting. He's got like a real Vince McMahon 2026 haircut with like the white stripe through it. We notice that he's hobbling in the restaurant, and that's all we notice about him. There's very little else that we kind of notice about him, other than the fact that he doesn't seem very pleased when Roby shows up there. But yeah, Roby and Triple H kind of flute around France for a bit. They go to Cannes, which really got my hopes up. I hadn't seen this film since I'd been to Cannes, and I was like, oh my god, what are they going to do in Cannes? But they're only in Cannes for like 5 seconds before he then has to go to Nice, which kind of annoyed me. But what we do get in Nice is, again, just this gorgeous flower market. Like, it's this whole film's shot in VistaVision.
Yep.
And it looks amazing. It looks so good. We had a stupid chase sequence in that flower market that ends with this like 90-year-old French florist just beating up Roby because he like plows through her flowers. So she just starts attacking him. It's great. Good for her. But then eventually Triple H and Roby decide that the next potential victims are going to be this mother and daughter, the Stevenses. Jessie Stevens, the mother, played by Jessie Royce Landis, who will be back on the podcast very shortly, and it's her podcast debut. And her daughter is played by Grace Kelly, who is Franny Stevens. So yeah, Triple H, the Stevenses, and Roby kind of hang out for the bulk of this film, whilst Roby, without them knowing, is kind of like scoping them out to see if the cat burglar goes for them next.
Yeah, very much so. And Danielle, Foussard's daughter, obviously seems to be concerned for Roby. She says to him that she wants him to leave for South America with her, because he's going to get into a bad situation if he stays. And
very much implied that she's like fancied him her whole life.
Yeah, I think they did not allude to the fact that they probably had a bit of a fling before as well.
I think so. Yeah,
they had a bit of a fling, I think, previously. So, yeah, Roby and Francie obviously grow closer. They go on this car chase in the French Riviera, and it seems like he sees a car behind them, obviously the French police. So he's trying to like egg her on to go faster without tipping her off that the police are actually in pursuit. And so eventually the police end up crashing their car. But then she reveals that actually she knew the police were there all along, and she knows that he's John Roby, the famed cat burglar. And I think she is quite kind of seduced by the idea of obviously maybe slightly being involved with the criminal lifestyle. And she's quite kind of excited by that possibility of like maybe a bit of excitement for once in her life, because obviously her mom is quite wealthy and has a lot of jewels, but perhaps just like has a quite quiet kind of luxurious life and doesn't really have that much interesting shit going on. And so yeah, we got that great high speed car chase, like I said, and then she's trying.
It's actually very funny. It's a really funny car
it's full
chase
of
as well.
innuendos, yeah.
Yeah, and it keeps cutting as well to Cary Grant, who's like a bit of a passenger princess at points, where he just keeps like clutching onto his knees as hard as he can.
Yeah.
Because he's the one on the outside, where like looking down on the edge, it's very funny.
Yeah, and he still won't admit to being John Roby, but I think she already has the game sussed. Then that night, when again they are obviously growing closer, she wakes him up and she says, where are they, and turns out some of her mum's jewels have been stolen, and she is very much upset and squarely focuses on John Roby, and she's like, you stole them, where are they? And I think it's pretty funny that her mom is like completely doesn't give less of a...
Her mom is like so into Cary Grant.
Yeah, she obviously thinks she's handsome, but she's also like, look, I can just get the insurance money for them. I'll probably be
Yeah,
happier that
she's
way as
actually not
well.
even that pressed. Yeah,
No, she's like, look, who cares? Like, they're a status thing, but at the end of the day, they're a bit of a hassle to kind of carry around and have to lock in safes all the time and whatever. I'll get the insurance money for them. So she helps Robbie escape out the window when the police come, and yeah, he's very much again. The evidence seems to be mounting up on him now that he is in fact responsible for all these jewel robberies.
yeah. There's a great scene when she helps, or sorry, there's a great line when she helps him escape. Um, I'm trying to think of like a comparison. The mom is like one of them characters who like loves the idea of like being. Obviously, it's not a murder mystery, but like one of them characters who like loves being involved in that whole sort of like figuring out thing. Like those characters in Murder She Wrote who are like just well into helping her try and solve the murder. The mom is like so into just helping Roby escape to a point where she obviously helps him escape. And then as he's escaping, all you hear from in the room is Francie going to her, "Mother, the book you're pretending to read is upside down," which is just so great. But yeah, Roby meets with Triple H because he's like, right, I know that whilst I was with the Stevenses, other people off that list were also hit by this copycat burglar. Who do we have left on the list, and who do you think it could be? So yeah, he says it's probably going to be this De Silva family. They live in this big house by the sea. Maybe go down, scope that one out, see if they're the next targets. So that night, again, in those gorgeous sort of turquoise and black nights, Roby goes down, and all of a sudden someone's got him in a headlock from behind. There's a scuffle, a wrench gets raised, someone gets hit in the head. Police expect it to be Roby because the police are waiting in the meantime for Roby. Because the whole time, even though he's admitting to Roby that he's doing it, Triple H is telling the police what he's doing to cover his own back when it comes to the police. He's saying to Roby, look, I'm helping you out, but the police also know that I'm helping you out. I don't want to break the law. I'm just an insurance man. He's actually an insurance man with an insurance policy, if you think about it, which is pretty funny. But yeah, the police all show up to who they think is Roby. But no, this copycat burglar is actually dead in the water. Obviously, that wrench raised and brought down struck him on the head. And I'm saying him because it is none other than Foussard. And if this is your first time watching To Catch a Thief, you're probably thinking, it's a bit of a weird choice to be this master copycat burglar. Maybe you were thinking it was Grace Kelly's character. Maybe you were thinking it was someone else, but random. But no, Roby goes straight to the police the next day and in front of everyone is like, yeah, nice one catching the copycat burglar. Funny that you left out the fact that he has a wooden leg out of the news. And they're like, you knew about that? And he's like, yes, I knew about that. He's obviously not the copycat burglar. You haven't caught the copycat burglar. You cannot let this case die. Which kind of then sort of tips the police off that he's innocent, but they're still not certain.
Right.
And then he lets them know that this is big L function, big masquerade thing that Triple H is invited to as well. The Triple H knows about as well, that the Stevenses are invited to as well. Where there's going to be all sorts of jewels on show. And if this copycat burglar really fancies a challenge, they're going to go for that big party. So the plan is kind of set in motion. Roby's going to go and kind of stalk the roof of this party whilst everyone else is down at the party keeping eyes on the ground level. And someone at some point is going to try and catch this copycat killer. Nope, copycat burglar. Because Roby is convinced that someone with, a wooden leg, he lost his leg during the war, wouldn't be capable of doing the sort of acrobatic cat burglary stuff that, Roby himself would be doing. So yeah, the wheels are basically set in motion for this big L party, which is also just an excuse for Hitchcock and Burks and their VistaVision to just like fire some colour at you, because this is a very colourful party.
Yeah, and at the funeral for Foussard, by the way, his daughter Danielle was very upset with Roby because she believed that he is responsible for killing her father and that that he's a wrong one, basically. But yeah, we cut to this ball, and because Roby is still under suspicion from the French police, they they obviously have a lot of oils there, and so they dress Triple H up in the costume that Roby initially was wearing, and so that Roby can sneak off to the rooftop and obviously, monitor whoever comes and goes from all the various apartments and stuff, and try and catch the burglar in the act. So at the end of the evening, the party is all wrapped up, and just as kind of Roby starts to think, like nothing's gonna happen here, this is all been a waste of time, he sees the burglar, and then the way it's shot, the lighting in this is just so brilliant, full of shadows as you would expect from Hitchcock. Like you said, that kind of luminescent light. He's running after this burglar all along the various rooftops, and then eventually there's a big spotlight, and they catch Roby up on the roof, and they're convinced, the police, that they have caught the great John Roby in the act, the cat. But then, then shit starts to go awry once again.
Yeah, so the copycat burglar makes a bit of a boo-boo, and there's a bit of a scuffle on the roof, and then all of a sudden the copycat burglar falls off the roof but is saved by one hand. Roby's got them. The jewels fall, the mask comes off, and who is it, Shane?
Danielle,
Foussard's daughter.
Yeah.
The one who was very upset at the funeral, the one who was scoping him out all film. Yeah. Interesting choice. Would you have had it be Grace Kelly?
I think a lot of movies probably would have. I was fine with it being Danielle, because to be honest, I don't think the mystery was like the main. To be honest, like I said, it's very plot light, and I think the main reason for this movie to exist was just for Grace Kelly and Cary Grant to kind of flirt with each other for an hour and a half. Let's be honest. So yeah, I was fine with it.
You couldn't risk any depth.
No, no, definitely not. Like it's definitely, plot-wise, the most insignificant probably of Hitchcock's movies that we've covered, at least certainly way up there. Even though it's definitely more...
Oh, we've covered some howlers. Under Capricorn.
Yeah, okay, yeah, you got it. Even Parody in Case, I think, has more meat on the bone, even though the meat on that bone is absolutely awful and detestable.
Gone off.
Like I said, gone off meat. This is 90 minutes
This just has a lovely bone.
Yeah, this is 90 minutes of like pre-packed ham from Lidl or something, as opposed to like premium meat, but it's still fun. It's still that's fine for what you need on any given day. And yeah, this is like slap it on a toasty and you're absolutely fine. It does the job just perfectly,
But yeah, Roby gets her to confess to the police that she is the killer before he lets her up, and himself and Grace Kelly make up. It's
right off into the sunset.
Yeah, it's To Catch a Thief. We can't go too deep with it, lads.
They caught the thief.
There's one great thing. Sorry, one thing I do love about the ending though is the final line, which is brilliant. Which is Roby brings Francie up to his house in the sort of countryside, and she's looking around. She loves it, and they embrace in a big hug. And she's like, "Oh, mother will love it here." And Cary Grant just looks down the camera and it ends. It's great. Great way to end a film. Yeah, it's fun. It's a vibe. I gave it 3 stars out of 5 because it looks gorgeous. It's fun. It's Cary Grant. It's Grace Kelly. It's Hitchcock. There's nothing objectively bad about this film. It's just a vibe that is in third gear. Hence 3 stars. It never tries to be Vertigo. It never tries to be North by Northwest. It knows what it is, and it does a fun job doing it whilst just looking fantastic. One of the best looking films we've covered this year, I would say. But yeah, To Catch a Thief, it's a good vibe. I would absolutely recommend you watch it over the summer, maybe as we could set up some sort of like summer and old Hollywood challenge. Do like 10 films set in summer for you to watch, and I would put this on that list solely because it really does have those like real summery vibes. What about you, Shane?
Yeah, it comes on everything you just said. Very laid back, just relaxed, low key, fairly low stakes. I mean, not for John Roby, but for everyone else. Who cares really
Yeah.
if Roby is found guilty? Like,
Yeah.
I don't necessarily, you know what I mean? Who cares if Triple H, Triple H wouldn't care if Roby was found guilty. He's had a nice couple of weeks with Roby, and then fuck it. Like I think it's just a really kind of laid back, low stakes, fun time at the movies, and yeah, it's just a chill kind of hangout sesh for Roby and
Yeah.
for Francie and for Triple H, and yeah, it's just don't overthink this movie. Basically, like I think last week was way there's lots and lots and lots of plot that you can get into there, and then it's
dialogue and performances and everything. Yeah.
And this is like, even though that was visually very, very interesting as well, even though it's mostly set in one location, this is visually beautiful and gorgeous and stunning because it's in the French Riviera and like one of the most beautiful places on earth, and it's also got Grace Kelly and Cary Grant obviously, but like it's like Hitchcock's like, I've done my plot heavy movie in the last one, let me just, well obviously this is after Rear Window I guess, but you know what I mean.
I enjoy Cary Grant's fashion in this film as well, actually.
Yeah,
I do enjoy it.
Some good knitwear on display, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And yeah, so just like this felt like Hitchcock, like you said, just wanted to go and shoot in a sunny country for a few months, and yeah, let's not overthink it. Other than that, it's a fun movie, and I gave it 3 out of 5 stars as well. And really, let's not overthink the movie any more than Hitchcock clearly didn't. So
yeah, perfect. Have we time for a quick round of guess the movie?
Yeah, let's get one round in. I think if we can, yeah.
Would you like to go first or second?
I will go first.
Cool.
And I have one here. I think it's focused. Hopefully. I think it did. Okay, go ahead.
Is this a film that you have seen?
No.
Is this a film that I have seen?
I'm just checking 1 second there. You have not seen this movie, no.
Is this film from the 20s or 30s?
No.
Is this film from the 50s or 60s?
Yes.
Is this film from the 60s?
No.
Wow. Jesus. And just to confirm, you said that I hadn't seen it either, right?
Yeah, neither of us have seen it yet.
Yeah. So it's a 50s film that neither of us have seen. Interesting. What would make you choose that? Because for those of you who follow this game of ours, there's always a logic to shame. And the game is more so about trying to figure out what that logic is this time. Is this a foreign language film?
No.
Did this film win Best Picture at the Oscars?
Don't believe so, but let me just check.
Jesus.
Yeah, I don't believe so. No, I didn't.
Wow. So we have a 50s film that neither of us have seen that didn't win Best Picture and isn't a foreign language film. I have absolutely no idea what would prompt Shane to pick this. I'm just going to throw a random one out there and say The Harder They Fall.
This movie is Some Came Running, directed by Vincenzo Manelli, and it's starring Shirley MacLaine, who's going to be in the podcast next week. There's her.
I would have absolutely never gotten that.
Yeah. Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin obviously are in this as well.
Oh, is that the remake of Philadelphia Story?
No, that's not. No, it's not that. No.
Or is that a different Shirley MacLaine and Frank Sinatra film?
Yeah, that's different. Yeah.
Ah.
We've both got this in our letterboxd watch lists, which is another reason why I picked it.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay, I have one here.
Okay.
Got it.
Have I seen this movie?
No.
Have you seen this movie?
No.
I saw that coming. Is this movie from the 1930s or 40s?
It is not.
Is this movie from the 50s or 60s?
It is.
Is this movie from the 50s?
It is.
So it's a 50s movie. Neither of us have seen. Is this a foreign language movie? Just answering all the same
It
questions.
is not. You have one question left.
This is interesting. Crap. Yeah, I don't know. Do we have plans to watch this movie later in the year?
As in, like, is this one that's potential? Is this one that's like we've actually physically penciled down?
Yeah.
No.
Worth a shot.
You're gonna have to guess.
Yeah.
That's not to say that it's not a film that we'll never cover on the podcast, but we do have our own secret list to pull back the curtain of films that we intend on covering this year. This, as it stands, isn't on the list, but then the list doesn't go that far into the future, so
No, yeah.
that's not to say that we won't cover it this year either.
God, I don't know. It could be anything really, couldn't it? Let me just go onto my watch list and yeah, I don't know. 1950s.
I don't know why, but I have a gut feeling that from nowhere Shane is about to just
Trust me,
pull
I'm
up this.
nowhere here. I have no idea.
I've
you
seen
said
Shane get them.
You said it's not a foreign language movie, didn't you?
It is. Was that question asked?
I believe it was, yeah. Yeah, because I basically asked the same questions you did, which is crazy.
Oh, okay. Well then, yeah, no, it's not a foreign language film.
Yeah. I don't know. Let's see. You have loads of 50s movies in your watch list, by the way.
It's a great decade.
Is this movie From Here to Eternity?
Vibes wise, you're not far off.
Right.
This doesn't count if you get it. This is a film directed by someone who we've covered twice in the podcast already.
Twice.
And its lead actor we've covered once on the podcast.
Who have we covered twice on the podcast?
This director's two films that we covered.
John Huston.
Both came out in the 50s as well.
No, it's not John Huston. Both came out in the 50s. Interesting.
He's a director who, when he received a Lifetime Achievement Award at the Oscars, Ed Harris and Amy Madigan famously did not clap for him.
Elia Kazan. Yeah, okay.
East of Eden.
Yeah, East of Eden. Crap. Damn. Yeah, okay, yeah.
And that was the episode of the Golden Era Film Podcast where we covered To Catch a Thief. Next week is The Trouble with Harry, which I haven't seen yet. It'll be my last Hitchcock 50s film to tick off the watch list. And it's got a cast of characters when it comes to our podcast anyway. It's worth noting some of the people who we'll be covering next week so you can get excited. Obviously our boy Edmund Gwen returns to the podcast. He's been on the podcast before for Miracle on 34th Street, Foreign Correspondent. We've got Shirley MacLaine, a Golden Hour Film Podcast award-winning actress, and I believe the podcast debut of John Forsyth.
Yeah, I believe it is.
So all of that is next week on the Golden Era Film Podcast. In the meantime, I've been Harry Bailey.
I've been Shane Vanny.
We'll see you all very soon. And keep voting on the Classic Film World Cup. Goodbye.